Georgia Public Broadcasting presents the 2005 Georgia High School Association's Football Center.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Georgia Dome, where it's the Grady Gray Knights, champions of Region 5 AA, against the Calhoun Yellow Jackets, the champions of Region 6 AA. A great crowd on hand, getting fired up and ready for a classic matchup between a great defensive team and a great offensive team. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Tommy Palmer along with my sidekick, Mark Lassiter, and we're getting ready to bring you Game 2 of Game 10 semifinal weekend at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. Mark, this one promises to be a classic offensive matchup against a classic defense.
Tommy, you couldn't ask for a better matchup. You have two undefeated teams. Let's go ahead and tag this a Cinderella story because Calhoun wasn't expected to be here this season, and Grady hasn't been in the playoffs in 52 years.
Well, the thing that I like about this is that Calhoun did not rebuild. They reloaded. Grady, their quarterback, Simeon Kelly, 3 touchdown passes in the second half to lead their team to the Dome. He's one of the key players for the Gray Knights. Also for Grady, on defense, their leading tackler, number 76, Brandon Thurman. Unusual combination of quickness and size for the Gray Knights. Our Coach Ronnie Millen told us how his Gray Knights made it to the Dome.
Offensively, we run a multiple offense. We line up in a variety of formations. We play a variety of receivers and running backs. It's according to who's hot at the time and based on the situation. But we play a lot of multiple sets, and defensively, we line up in a 4-3. And I think right now our strong points are our linebackers. They do an extremely good job, and different looks and different blitzes and things of that nature. But we don't just sit in one thing. We do a variety of things on defense as well.
Calhoun went 13-0. They had to rebuild their football team. And Mark, you know something about their offensive and defensive personnel.
When I looked at their stats on offense, I thought it was a typo when I looked at some of the numbers they put up this season. Calhoun has an incredible combination of running ability, but they'll also throw the ball deep on you when they get a chance. Their offense is led by a quarterback who is expected to go to the next level, incredibly strong arm, and Calhoun's running backs are key. There's Cody Worley, number 9. He's 34-3 as a starter. So if you looked up his name in the dictionary, you'd see the name winner right next to Cody Worley.
Coach Hal Lamb has enjoyed tremendous success, and success comes through great playing. And of course, Coach Lamb is no stranger to the game. He comes from an ancestry of coaching background. He has some relatives, and he has his team well prepared, and we asked him what his team had to do to win this football game.
Well, offensively, we're based out of the wing tee. We're going to get a 3-back set most of the time. We'll get some 2-back sets every once in a while. We'll get some 1-back sets. Sometimes we feel like we got a good quarterback that we can throw it some and run it. Defensively, we're based out of 3-5-3, and we're very aggressive on that side of the ball. And the strength of our defense is obviously our 3 linebackers, and hopefully you'll be able to see that.
Well, as you all know, it all happens down on the field, and Gerald Oliveri's down on the sideline, and he'll give us the atmosphere of what's really happening down on the field today.
Well, Tommy, thanks a lot. It's electric down here, and like you said earlier, the big question is, can Grady's defense shut down Cody Worley, Chris Durham, and the rest of the Yellow Jackets offense? Grady has been holding their opponents to less than 7 points a game, but Calhoun has been scoring over 44 points a game. And Grady didn't give up 44 points combined until the 7th game of the season, so that's the key matchup here. And when you put all of that together with 2 teams that have never played in the Dome before, what do you have? Well, Tommy, we're about to find out soon because kickoff is only minutes away.
All right, we are back at the Georgia Dome. Are you excited yet, Mark?
This should be a good one. And one key to the game immediately, keep an eye on that Calhoun offensive line. They've been dominant this season. They match quickness and technique, and they're able to get their bigger players downfield for blocks. So that Calhoun offensive line may be one of the keys.
Well, I really think that the wide receiver from Calhoun. The height advantage could be one of those things that we really need to look at. If they go to him early, the big wide receiver. Grady, a running football team, as you can see, almost 2-3 versus the pass. They ran for 1,913 yards, 30 touchdowns, threw it for 1,059-13. They defeated Rockmart 30-16, Laney 13-6, Macon County 20-0. That's how they got to the Dome.
One of the things about Grady also, Tommy, is that they will spread the football to 4 different receivers.
Calhoun got here by rushing the ball for a ton of yardage. 3,402 yards, 51 rushing touchdowns, almost 1,500 in passing yardage, and 16 through the air. 6 defensive touchdowns too, Mark, which tells you their defense plays tough. And this is how they got there. They defeated Walker 41-7. They beat Morgan County 38-23, and a very good Fitzgerald team last week 48-20. Calhoun Yellow Jackets and the Grady Gray Knights. And we're set for the kickoff. Grady in red. Calhoun with the simulated Georgia Tech uniform almost, Mark, as you can see.
It's a nice look.
A very nice look. And a great crowd across the way from Grady. Toe meets leather, and we're underway. Chris Durham up the middle to the 15-yard line. First down, Yellow Jackets from there, Mark. Cody Worley is the quarterback for the Yellow Jackets. And it's really going to be interesting to see how Grady responds on defense. Just underway. Here's the Calhoun offense. Fowler and Aker are at the tackles. Ruff and Hogan the guards, and Audino is the center. The running backs are Urbano, Carter, Strickland, Durham, and Welch is your tight end. Slot right formation. Worley hands to his tailback. Urbano up across the 20 to the 20, well, up close to the 20-yard line. On the other side of the ball, Grady with a 4-man front. Thurman, Bryant, Phillips, Spots, and Smith. The linebackers are Carmichael, Farley, and Sykes. And in the secondary, it's Robinson, Coleman, Williams, and Shorthouse. Worley has them huddled back at about the 13, now at the 20. Worley looks at a 4-man front, looking to throw, now going to run up near the 25, very close to a first down. Looks like 4th and short yardage here, Mark.
Tried to reach out at the last second of that tackle to get the ball past the 25-yard line.
Cedric Sykes and Carson Phillips Spots on the stop. No danger of going for it here. 4th and very short yardage. Worley to the sideline talking to his coach. Now back to kick. Jimmy Little standing back at his 11-yard line. Good snap. Blocked. Recovered at the 18. Grady blocks it.
Talked about the possible advantage that Calhoun might have coming into this game, averaging 38 yards per punt. And what does Grady do? Block the first kick.
So much for the advantage in the kicking game. Here's another look at it.
Darryl Farley, excellent technique, coming right in front of the kicker's leg.
Grady on offense now, down at the 18. Good Calhoun defense. Very little gain on the play. Dexter Burnett on the stop. Grady across that front line's got Journey, Bryant, Smith, Spragan, and Good. In the backfield, Crawford, Cohen, Thomas, Watts, and Outlaws the tight end. The give is to the second man through the tailback. Simeon Kelly. Kelly down near the 10-yard line. Mark, the gain was 7. Let's set that Calhoun defense for you. Davidson, Mueling, and Huff. The backers are Locklear, Kidd, Spector, Sharp, and Welch. Grady down there close to the first down. Mark?
Looks like they have enough for it. Quarterback Simeon Kelly at the beginning of the season felt that a lot of people doubted this Gray Knights team. Now he says no one can say anything. We're here in the Dome.
This is the red zone, and this is where Grady makes a statement. There's a lot of emotion in the first 4 or 5 minutes. On the other hand, as far as Calhoun is concerned, if you endure the first 5-minute flurry here, no danger. Kelly brings him up. Our eye formation, one wide receiver. Gives to the tailback. Excellent defense. Dexter Barnett on the carry. Cliff Locklear on the stop.
You make an excellent point about preparation, Tommy, because Grady is usually in a 2-hour preparation mode before kickoff. Knowing that you have the games sandwiched tighter together today, you only have a half hour to get ready and get your offense prepared. Grady spends a lot of time on their offensive units.
I think both teams are spending the first few minutes of the game getting used to playing in the Dome. Simeon Kelly. Toss sweep to the tailback. Touchdown, Dexter Barnett.
Cedric Sykes through the block on the corner. He's wearing number 22. Once he got the seal block, it was clear sailing to the end zone, and Grady, the Gray Knights, have the early lead in the first time in the Dome.
Noah Shea will attempt the point from placement. Spector to hold. Good snap. Kick is up. And good. Grady 7, Calhoun nothing.
Catch the block, and then the speed to the outside for the touchdown. No one laid a hand on him, and Grady from Midtown and Old Fourth Ward takes the early lead.
So when you get down to it, it's blocking and tackling. 5 plays, 18 yards, 2 minutes and 4 seconds.
You know, the Gray Knights didn't have far to come. They could have walked over here. Their home stadium is only about 3 miles from the Georgia Dome.
And they haven't been to the playoffs since 1953. Can you imagine the rush the supporters of that great school are now feeling?
Well, imagine one of the early supporters, Irk Russell, the former assistant coach for the University of Georgia, was a coach for Grady.
Witten Ucall will kick it off.
Ronnie Millen looking very cool on the sideline.
Chris Durham, the highly touted wide receiver, back at his 5. He is a speedster. Less than 4.5, but it's not going to him. One of the up men at the 20 and gonna slide down. Mason Strickland on the return, and Calhoun takes over at about the 3. Calhoun first down at the 22-yard line. A little hitch pass to Durham out to the 33.
Also a flag thrown behind that last play back at the 25-yard line. We'll sort this one out.
Could have been holding on the left side over there, Mark. The gain was 8 or 9. The officials talking it over with the Grady defensive captain. The referee is Danny Westbrooks.
We have an ineligible receiver downfield on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Here's the rest of the officiating crew today. Jeff Earwood, Jeff Zimbardo, Mickey Sitton, Eric Patterson, and Mark Brooks. The give is to Urbano, the sophomore running back. The gain was very little, up to about the 17-yard line.
Excellent pursuit at the point of attack by Grady. Urbano comes into this game averaging 13.3 yards per carry. He's the player that Grady has to account for. Now, they played a big back last week, so they have some experience loading up the front four and playing in their linebackers close to the line of scrimmage.
You're midway through the first quarter. You're down by 7. You don't need to make a mistake here. Very conservative. Rolling right, looking to throw for Durham. The big, tall, 6'5" receiver, complete up at about the 28-yard line, and the gain was 10. Excellent throw by the quarterback.
It's a tough matchup. He's working against Elijah Carmichael of Grady, but you have a 6'6" receiver who's able to just lay out, make the catch, and go out of bounds.
Isaac Coleman on the cover and pushed him out of bounds over there. 3rd down and 5. Calhoun back at the 28.5-yard line. Double wing, 1 wide receiver. Counter trap. Urbano with open territory. Could go. Touchdown. Calhoun answers. 72 yards. Urbano on a counter trap.
The last player that had a shot at Urbano was Brandon Thurman, number 76. Excellent blocking at the point of attack. You'll see number 76 line him up and just try to whip right there.
Great acceleration by Urbano down the stretch. Jimmy Little in hot pursuit. Jimmy Little rather attempting the extra point here. Good snap. Kick is up, and the kick is good. And we've got a new game at 7 with 5:48 left in the first quarter.
Make that 33 career touchdowns for Adam Urbano. Came into this game with 2,094 yards for his career.
Great counter trap, which was an excellent call. Grady, very strong defensively. 3 plays, 77 yards. One of those short and sweet drives at 1 minute and 42 seconds.
Grady was victimized just a bit by over pursuit on the last trap play, but give credit to Calhoun for setting it up well on a 3rd down and medium play call.
Well, you look for Durham, you look for the big 6'6" wide receiver with the 4.45 40 speed. You look for him across the middle, but they cross everybody up with the counter dive. Scott Blair to kick it off. Rico Robinson, Dexter Barnett are deep. Soccer style kicker. Will take a lot of steps. Great kick, high, driving, no run back here. Touchback. What a kick. A long way to go. 80 yards away. Grady in an I formation. to the tailback. Pursuit by Calhoun. Dexter Barnett, the tailback, caught for a 7-yard loss. And this is not what you want to happen when you're a ball control offense.
Thing to keep an eye on is that Calhoun's leading tacklers sound like a law firm. Their 3 linebackers, Spector, Welch, and Sharp, total 276 tackles for the season.
Aaron Kidd, Kurt Welch, Matt Sharp, all in there on the stop. High formation with 2 wide receivers. The give is to the tailback on the isolation. Dexter Barnett. Nick Davidson, the defensive end, steps in to make the stop.
Grady playing it very conservative, deep in their own territory.
Barnett, 33 rushes on the year, 288 yards for an average of almost 9 yards a carry, 5 touchdowns.
Now, on the other hand, the 4 wide receivers for Grady, Watts, Thomas, Shorthouse, and Rico Robinson, are the players that like to spread the ball to.
3rd down and long. Not your favorite call in your playbook. Kelly dropping the throw. Up near midfield, incomplete. Great coverage out there by Durham. The pass was intended for Andrefus Thomas.
Thomas was streaking down the sideline into double coverage at about the 45-yard line. And Kelly just reared back and tried to throw it as far as he could down that sideline. But Grady now must go into punt formation.
Thomas will kick it away from his goal line. Durham deep to receive just past midfield. Line drive kick gets an excellent bounce. That's as good as you could hope for if you're Grady, Mark.
Exactly. They come into this ball game only averaging 28 yards per punt. So they're going to need every extra bounce they can get their hands on, because if this becomes a game of field position, Calhoun special teams will have an advantage.
Well, we've played almost 8 minutes here, and we're all tied at 7. Nothing like this atmosphere in the Dome, and you can't help but notice the Grady partisans across the way. They're really excited about being here.
Once upon a time, Grady was one of those football games where you only saw the parents and a few instructors show up for it. Now it's the thing to do in Midtown.
Eric Carter on the carry up to the 35. The gain is 2, 2nd down and 8. This is game 2 of 10 games over the next 2 days. Double wing, Urbano in motion. Excellent defensive play by Brandon Thurman. And he's no stranger to the opposite backfield.
Thurman is the leading tackler on the Grady team. What I found also interesting, he is on the kick coverage team. Very unusual for a defensive lineman. Tells you what kind of speed he has. He's wearing number 76 in red for Grady. Watch him run down the quarterback from behind, showing that speed and closing ability.
Great backside pressure that time by Grady. 3rd and long. Another one of those, you hope they have one in their playbook for this one, Mark. Durham in motion. Just over the outstretched hands of Durham up at the 42. If he makes that catch, it's a 1st down.
They had the play, as you mentioned. Durham was open with enough for the 1st down. Ball just slightly overthrown.
Jimmy Little will kick it away now for Calhoun. 4th down and about 12.
They say Durham runs a 4.4 40 at 6'6". He's a great target.
Rico Robinson and Dexter Barnett deep to receive for Grady. Another good snap. What a kick. At the 27, Barnett looking for somewhere to go. Great kick coverage by Calhoun.
The punt hung for about a couple of days, allowing the Calhoun coverage team enough time to get downfield and make that tackle with actually a loss after the point of reception.
What great coverage by the Calhoun kick team. Simeon Kelly now 76 yards away. 7-7.
Hey!
Obviously, both teams have survived that first 5-minute flurry we always worry about as football analysts. If you can survive that, you can settle into your game. Simeon Kelly on the quarterback draw. Ball loose. Fumble. Calhoun says we have it. Grady says we have it. Calhoun has it. Calhoun recovers the fumble.
Right at the snap of the ball, linebacker Matt Sharp timed his rush into the backfield perfectly. Unfortunately, overran the play, but after the pickup of the first down, quarterback Simeon Kelly just doesn't cover up. Gets contact, is pulled out. Calhoun recovers.
Strickland on the recovery for Calhoun. First down 10 now at the 39. Worley brings them up. 4-man front, looking to throw. Got a man wide open. Down to the 3. Adam Urbano came out of the backfield. He was wide open.
Urbano came into this game with 4 catches. It's like a secret weapon when you have a player with that kind of running ability, able to get not just downfield, but deep downfield. Made the catch at about the 5-yard line behind coverage.
The pass a little underthrown, and you could see the rush of Grady caused that. But Urbano brings it down just inside the 2. Worley in the eye to Urbano. Grady up there in an 8-man front.
Last belly up for Grady, Zach Cohen, number 24, in on that stop.
Second down and about 6 inches. Looks like the nose of the ball is almost down at the stripe there.
You know what's coming. The question is, can you stop it?
Power eye, fullback, touchdown. Spector with the score. At the 128 mark. So the turnover proves costly for Grady.
And a sudden score, as you mentioned, Tommy, you give up the turnover, have the long pass play. Grady's defense been on the field a lot in the last 5 minutes.
Jimmy Little will kick. Trey Lamb will hold. Good snap. And the kick is perfect. 1:28 left in the first quarter. Calhoun 14. Grady 7. 3-play drive, 41 yards. It took 54 seconds.
This is one of those points in the ball game. If you're Grady, you have to regroup and make sure that you remind your players you can't afford another turnover, because this game can easily get away from you against a tough team like Calhoun. Here's the touchdown. So Grady, which led at 1.7-0, has given up 14 straight points.
Grady will have to be methodical in their approach to it here. You don't want to play too tentatively. You want to make a good, strong march here and make a statement back to Calhoun. You got us with a big one, but we're coming right back at you. So I think Grady has to really make a statement here. Scott Blair will kick it off. Robinson and Barnett are deep for Grady.
What they're hoping for is a returnable kick. The last one was 8 yards deep in the end zone.
Unless Blair misses it, I don't think that's going to happen at all today. Grady and Calhoun, both their first appearance in the Dome.
5 yards deep.
8 yards the previous kick, 5 yards. He's weakening.
And you know what you notice, Tommy, is the thud. You can hear the sound of that kick all the way up here in the booth. There are some kickers that just separate themselves by the sound of that foot meeting the football.
Well, as Al Seraldo used to say many years ago, toe meets leather. You can definitely hear toe meet leather here in the Dome.
That might have been all 5 toes.
It could have been all 5. Grady now at the 20. 80 yards away from pay dirt and down by 7. First down, 10 yards to go now for the Gray Knights. Kelly to his tailback, slashing off the left side, Barnett.
One thing Grady has is a lot of team speed, Tommy. When teams come into the Dome and you put on those new shoes and you come out on the field turf, you feel faster. If Grady can get their players adjusted, again, this is a big leap from where they play on natural grass. They want to use that speed to an advantage playing on here at the Dome with this very fast field.
When you talk to the players, they say the only thing that is different about playing on field turf versus grass is you have to pick up your feet higher. It has a catching effect, and that's the only difference. Kelly to his tailback. Got a hold at right tackle. That's Barnett.
Excellent run as he ran through the tackle of Jason Merling of Calhoun, who had contact, not decent technique, at about the 30-yard line. Watch the strength on this run as he pulls away from the first hit.
Aaron Kidd on the stop. First down, 10 now for Grady at the 38. And this is what we were speaking about, Mark. This is the kind of drive that Grady needs to answer the Calhoun bomb, which just exploded moments ago. Kelly throwing deep, just overthrown down at the 18. Just a foot or two over the outstretched hands of the wide receiver, DeMarcus Watts. They were going for the whole ball of wax there.
Watts was working the far sideline against number 7, Mason Strickland, who had actually pretty decent coverage until about the last 10 yards where there was some separation. But what we're finding already is that Simeon Kelly is not afraid to go deep.
The only thing that surprised me was on first down. Generally, it's 2nd and long or 1st and 5 if you're the benefactor of a penalty. Kelly looking to throw out of the backfield. Incomplete. Forward pass incomplete. Pass intended for Barnett.
Very alert play by the Grady offensive unit to get on that ball and cover just in case it would be ruled a lateral behind the line of scrimmage. That's a sign of a well-coached football team.
Very well coached. 3rd down and 10. Well, you've tried to flare out of the backfield. You've gone for the bomb. What do you see here?
That's a tough one. You've got 4 guys, 2 guys spread to the right and left right now wide.
Man in motion. Kelly rolling the throw, plenty of time. Barnett up at the 40. 45 up near midfield.
Flag came in right at the end of that play as it looks like the mark will bring up that last play about a yard short of the first down.
Kurt Welch on the stop. There's a flag down on the play. Let's see. Blocking in the back, obviously, or personal foul. Let's see. Yeah, personal foul on this one. We'll wait for the referee.
We have an illegal block in the back on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Now, Tommy, what that does in effect is give Grady another shot at the 3rd down long call. That play stood. They appeared to be about a yard shy of the first down from ground level.
Watch it this time, maybe to the other side. Very effective play. Calhoun in a 3-man front with a rover. Kelly throws complete. Rico Robinson on the tip.
Tipped by Bruce DeFore of Calhoun. The Grady receiver showed the presence to keep his balance, make the reception on the deflection, and go downfield for another 10 yards. Here's the tip and the catch.
And a nice run after the catch. So Grady has done exactly what they needed to do. They've answered, and now they're on the move again.
Another footnote is you got to look at that play on field level camera. Simeon Kelly's footwork kept himself balanced, ready to throw, adjusted position.
We've played one. Calhoun 14, Grady 7, quarter 2. Simeon Kelly on the carry.
Kelly likes to use the ball fake to set up his passing game. But if he doesn't find anyone deep downfield, Kelly will pull it down and run it himself. And he has very quick feet.
Ronnie Millen, of course, talking to Kelly. Hal Lamb, of course, at the quarter break, encouraging his team. I'm sure this is probably as good as Coach Lamb could have hoped for. We have a player down on the field. Torrey Good.
Talking about Henry Grady High School. They merged with Tech High and Girls High in 1947. And in 1961, Grady became one of the first high schools in Georgia to open its door to African Americans. So Grady has really been a part of the history of this city for a long time.
One of the offensive linemen injured on the play, being assisted off the field. Torrey Good. Here's Grady. Just an isolation to Cedric Sykes, the tailback. Across the right side. The gain 5, third down now, and about 2. So Grady is doing exactly what they wanted to do. Sykes on the year, 234 yards.
Every game, Tommy, has about 3 to 5 big plays. This is the first big play for Grady on offense at 3rd and 3.
9 touchdowns on the year. Man in motion. Here he is again across the left side. Sykes, the workhorse on this drive, down to the 13.
Notice the similarity in the play to Sykes and the touchdown run, the play call to Urbano. Both off-tackle plays using the quick starts of the running backs, covers up well at the point of reception and picks up the first down.
Breaking 2 or 3 tackles as he slashes across the side.
Grady has an unusual number of skilled players. You see them in pregame warm-ups. They're running 2 complete units.
1st and 10 at the 13. So they have to get inside the 3 for another first down. Kelly looks over a 3-man front, drops straight back to throw. In and out of the hands of the receiver, down at about the 3-yard line. Pass was intended for Rico Robinson. Chris Durham with all the speed in the world down there covering. Let's take another look at it, Mark.
You're working against a 6'6" defensive back now. Durham, the converted wide receiver. Excellent coverage and a nice hit in the back.
Durham, quite an athlete. Speed advertised under 4.5 in the 40, and he's 6'5".
He's matched up against Ty Cohen for Grady right now.
High formation. Kelly throwing, intercepted. Talk about Chris Durham, a burst of speed down at about the 6. And Calhoun intercepts the Simeon Kelly pass.
Kelly was trying to hit Cohen on a bit of a comeback route at the 4-yard line, but working against the large defensive back. The ball was slightly underthrown. Here's the play on the ball. He just turns back to wide receiver and makes the reception.
Let's find out what's going on down on the sideline. Gerald Oliveri. Gerald.
Thanks a lot, Tommy. Right now I have Earthwind Moreland with me. You played for Grady, graduated back in '95, but right now you play for the New England Patriots. And first of all, let me see that Super Bowl ring that you got on. Show the folks out there that. Now that's nice. Now that's nice. Now you also played under Irk Russell for Georgia Southern. What was it like playing for him? Oh, man, it was a great experience. He was one of those guys. He really taught the game of football. He was a hard-nosed coach, and he took everything that we were doing in practice onto the field. And what's it like for you to see Grady out there playing in the Dome now? Man, this has been a long time coming. When I was there, we weren't fortunate enough to make the playoffs, but now it's been like 52 years for them to finally make the playoffs and to go this far. I'm very excited about it. All right, well, there's a lot of excitement out on the field, and thanks, Irvin, for stopping and talking with us. Back up to you, Tommy.
Eric Carter on the carry, and a first down. Calhoun up at about the 16. Worley on the toss sweep. Good blocking out in front up to the 23. Adam Urbano once more on the carry.
That was no ring on his finger. That was a recreational vehicle.
Good night. I thought I had seen rings before. I've never seen one that size before. Second down and about 3 now up at the 23 or the 24.
Got to go into the weight room just to be able to wear that thing around.
My hand's not that big. Second and a long 3. Worley. Wow. To Carter.
Great hit.
Welcome to the Dome.
Daryl Farley of Grady wrapped up, made the best tackle so far we've seen this afternoon.
Let's take another look at this one. Oh my.
Nice to meet you.
Just a little bit of defense, wouldn't you say? Daryl Farley, 30 tackles on the year, 3 sacks, 5.5 thrown for losses on the year. Well, great statistics.
Remind the audience, you talked about it at the opening. We have 2 undefeated teams here.
Yes, we do. 13-0. Worley. A little counter to Urbano once more up to the 27-yard line. Brandon Thurman on the initial stop.
The leading tackler for Grady, Thurman. We're going to hear that name a lot this afternoon. He wears number 76. Lines up at a defensive line position, but they use him almost as a monster back. He goes where he wants on the field.
Urbano, 2,094 rushing yards on the year, 32 touchdowns. He's no stranger to the end zone.
This year he had 1,558 yards coming into this ball game on 117 carries. But that rushing average is what gets you. That's what jumps out. 13 yards per carry for Urbano.
And he's a sophomore. Measure for a first down here. Let's see. Plenty. Nope. Short.
They had 2 balls down there.
Yeah, they did.
You caught the ball to the right.
I got the ball to the right. Sorry about that, folks.
No, you were right. Just wrong ball.
There you go. With a 7-point lead.
4th and short.
4th and very short. If you make it here, it's okay.
They're taking a lot of time to decide on the play call.
They're going for it. Hal Lamb has made his decision.
Grady's defensive line has to hold on to watch for any fake on the count. Got it.
Good snap and a first down. Now that's a gutsy call.
And he quick snapped it.
One of 2 things generally happen in that situation, Mark, and I'm sure you've seen it many times. You either call the long snap to jump them off sides, or you either make the quick snap before they're ready.
Lamb very decisive on that 4th and short call. Let's mark that one down in the ledger also for a key play on offense for Calhoun.
That is true. 1st and 10 Yellow Jackets. A lot of motion. Worley looking to throw. Throwing for Durham, who has plenty of company across midfield.
Fake the toss to Chris Locklear, setting up the time and freezing the line to give him time to go deep downfield, but Grady had double coverage. They've learned that lesson one time with the big wide receiver.
They bumped him at the line of scrimmage and then afforded him double coverage right down the middle of the field. Worley with a nice toss. 2nd down and 10. 7:41 still before half. Calhoun leading by 7. More motion. Carter. First down yardage up near the 40.
Thurman had him by the shirt. but there was enough of a burst to pick up the yardage for the first down. Calhoun now going to the ground game.
The thing that impresses you about both of these teams as you watch is even in slow motion, there's tremendous quickness on both sides of the ball.
And what you also notice is the complexity of these plays. They're doing everything off of play action. None of these plays are very basic textbook plays, if you will.
Carter with 11 touchdowns on the year. Worley dropping the throw. Got Durham out there one-on-one. First down yardage and more. Down to the 47-yard line where Isaac Coleman rides him down near the out-of-bounds marker. Another first down for Calhoun. They're trying to isolate Durham one-on-one, which is what you really want to do when you have a receiver of this talent and this size.
And what you need is excellent technique to wrap up, get to the point of attack, and not allow him to get down the sideline.
Durham split wide to the left, double wing formation. Worley, the counter trap, the touchdown play before. There goes Urbano once more. First down to the 35. That's the identical play they scored on the first time they scored with the long 76-yard run.
Urbano on that run stepped through 2 tackles, would-be tackles by Grady, picking up another first down.
Let's watch another angle of that.
Again, the fake pitch, inside handoff to Urbano, and does the rest with that power and strength right up the middle.
Urbano, 117 rushes, 1,558 yards, 26 touchdowns on the year. This, my friends, is a sophomore.
And the tip-off is the number of stars on the helmet. You see Urbano's helmet, he's got stars under the logo of the jacket. Now, some players get the logo and the stars near the stripe of the helmet. He's got so many stars, he's going to be over the ear flap pretty soon. There's the Gray Knight.
I wondered before today's game if they had a Gray Knight. Obviously they do.
They wouldn't be complete without the Gray Knight at Grady.
At the 36, Calhoun. Wide spread. Worley gives to the up back. Urbano. Very little there. Great defense that time by Grady.
It's amazing when your program turns around, your band gets new uniforms, your fans show up, and you even get a mascot to boot.
Here's another look at it. Urbano in the backfield. Second down and 8. It's surprising he got the 2. Checking off at the line of scrimmage. Worley. Gaping hole at the right side. Down to the 11 goes Eric Carter. And man, what a hole on the right side. Isaac Coleman had to turn around and go get him, literally.
You prepare for the strength of Urbano, and then you come back with the speed of Carter. Watch the cutback right here. That's the move that got that run started, and the rest was just sheer athletic ability all the way down to the Grady 11-yard line.
Strength and the water bug ability, as we call it. Very mobile. First down and 10. Worley, motion. Same play call. Down to the 7. Carter on the carry.
Few teams will have a running back combination. Carter with a 12-yard average. All day we've been talking about Urbano. Grady's been loading up the line. All of a sudden they go to their second back, who's just as talented. The danger for Grady, as we get a look at their defense, they've been on the field a long time in this second quarter. Now fatigue starts to be a challenge as well.
Well, this is what you don't want to happen if you're Grady. You don't want to leave your defense out there alone. This is a time-consuming drive. Durham in motion. They're going to try to isolate him. But the handoff is to Urbano right up the middle. Obviously, they use Durham when they need him, but they also use him as a great decoy. Here's a look at Urbano once more.
Great technique and pursuit to the ball by Grady.
Thurman again on the carry. Had some help from Robinson, the corner, who had to come up. Third down and 2. power I formation. Toss sweep. Touchdown, Urbano.
Credit the block of Matt Sharp on the corner, wearing number 3 for Calhoun. Got his man sealed at the 5-yard line, and all Urbano did was play off the block all the way for another score for Calhoun.
Toss sweep. That's elementary football. That's power football. Little to attempt the point from placement. Lamb will hold.
Urbano's one of those players that once he gets up ahead of steam, very difficult to stop.
Very difficult. Good snap. Good placement. And the kick is good. Calhoun 21. Grady 7. A long 13-play, 97-yard drive, 5 minutes and 29 seconds, topped off by Urbano's 3-yard touchdown run. And there's a look at him now.
Here's Adam Urbano congratulating his teammates, knowing that he had some help on that last run. Looks like he's ready to go back in the game. He's not even breathing hard.
You think the Yellow Jacket might be happy? I think. 21-7, Calhoun, 4:34 still in the first half. Here's another look at it. Simple toss sweep. This is elementary football. This is just blocking and tackling, and there was a lot of blocking on the right side.
The block by Matt Sharp, he held that block a long time. You see him right to the left of your screen, all the way into the end zone. He held that block 2 yards deep.
Come on, Trey, let's go.
Blair getting set to kick it off. Deep to receive. Robinson and Barnett. On his first kick, Blair was 8 yards deep in the end zone, then 5 yards. Now, toe meets leather. Let's see where he puts it this time. The officials ready. Blair ready. Driving kick, which is returnable at the 1. Dexter Barnett with a wall on the right side. Barnett got a block and another and breaks a tackle and returns it to the 41-yard line of Calhoun.
That return gives you chills because Barnett should have been stopped at the 40-yard line, showed the power and the speed on the return down the sideline.
58-yard return. Love the look of the wall. Watch the wall set up here.
Grady finally gets a kick that they can return, and then Barnett shows the speed and gets contact right here.
Breaks a tackle.
Spins out of it. Picks up another 10 and another 4 after the second zip tackle.
You talking about answering a drive. Grady just answered a drive. It's 1st and 10 for the Gray Knights. Down at the 41. And in motion. Not much there across the left side. Calhoun defense rises up. Elijah Carmichael, the fullback, on the carry. Let's see who was on the bottom of the pile here.
Tommy, with 4 minutes remaining in the first half, Grady would like nothing better than to get a score back up to answer that last touchdown by Calhoun. 21-14 would look a lot more respectable than 21-7.
It would feel a lot more respectable too. Anything here, even a field goal. The time of possession tells the story. Kelly dropping the throw. Got somebody out there wide open. Got it. Touchdown. DeMarcus Watts. 41-yard touchdown toss. You talking about answering the phone. Hello.
Watts actually had to slow up for that pass by Kelly, who's showing more arm strength than he demonstrated last week. The ball fake, Kelly just heaves it downfield all the way to the goal line. Excellent reception right at the goal line.
Great concentration. Shea to attempt the point after. The kick is good.
I don't know about you, but we're having fun this afternoon at the Georgia Dome.
I'm telling you. They talked about the first game. This one's just as much fun. Calhoun 21. Grady 14. 2 plays, 41 yards. Those are the kind of scoring drives that you like. 55 seconds.
This is like a heavyweight fight, Tommy. One fighter gets in a blow, the other one comes right back with a counterpunch.
Let's take another look at it. Great arch on the ball. Great concentration by the receiver. You see the foot planted in the end zone, touchdown. Let's look at it again. Worth another look. Look at this.
He must play a little bit of basketball because he times his jump perfectly over the 2 defensive backs. Watch him come back and make the reception.
Great concentration. They preach it all week long in practice. Concentrate, concentrate. Look the ball in. Yuka will kick it off. Deep to receive. Durham, the speedster, the wide receiver. Still 3:29 to play in the first half. We've got a football game, 21-14. High short kick taken by one of the up men down at the 18. Ball loose. Back to the 11. Mason Strickland on the return. First and 10, Calhoun. The give is Urbano. Once more.
We talked about the Cinderella story at the beginning of the contest, Tommy. Calhoun was not expected to be here with a very young team, and Grady, which has been mediocre to bad for so long, all of a sudden finds himself in the state playoffs. So you have 2 energized fan bases that are just happy to be at the Georgia Dome.
Second down and 5. The give is to Carter once more. Breaking tackles up across the 25, up to the 33-yard line.
A saving tackle, because once Carter steps out of the tackle at the 30-yard line, he's just about to get up to full speed.
Another look here.
Tremendous hole opened up by the offensive line of Calhoun, which we alluded to at the beginning of the broadcast, and Carter does an excellent job of playing off those blocks.
And also does an excellent job of switching the ball from one hand to the other. Now Urbano gets a shot and comes up to the 38 before Brandon Thurman makes the stop.
Unofficially, I'd say Brandon Thurman has at least 6 tackles this afternoon. We don't have the stats at halftime yet. He's one of the leaders of that Grady defense.
The Grady defense has been on there. They've been on the field. Calhoun 186 yards rushing. Grady 55 yards rushing. Second down, 6. Urbano once more. Up across the 42, the 43. Timeout down on the field. 1:50 left in the half. Calhoun 21, Grady 14. It certainly has lived up to everything we expected it to be.
Sometimes when you have a young team coming into a contest like this for the first time, you almost expected Grady to fall a little bit flat after that second score.
We asked Coach Lamb what was special about his Calhoun Yellow Jackets this year.
Well, I tell you, this team has come a long way. You know, going into the season, we lost a good bit of seniors off last year's team and really didn't expect to have this great a year. And, you know, we've had 13 wins in a row, and this senior leadership is incredible on this football team. We have 15 seniors, and they're very loyal, and they do what they're coached to do. And the Lord has blessed us with some high-character kids, and we're very fortunate.
Coach Hal Lamb, a great coach. He's been there for a while and knows the program inside and out, and has built a tremendous program at Calhoun. Third and short. Give is to Carter. Close enough probably to measure, but man, did Grady jump up in there. Thurman again. Brandon Thurman had some help from the linebacker, Darryl Farley.
From here, Tommy, looks like he's going to be out about an inch shy of the first down.
Let's watch it again. Great surge by the Grady defensive line, and there's Big Thurman. He is quick as a cat. 48 tackles on the year, 10 sacks, and 10.5 thrown for loss.
Interesting. No measurement.
No measurement. First down, 10. Worley, double wing formation, motion. Durham, the speedster, in a foot race, midfield, 40. Out of bounds at about the 34. Chased out over there by Xavier Shorthouse and also Anthony Johnson. That brought the Yellow Jacket faithful to their feet.
Durham, listed at 4.45 in the 40, had Anthony Johnson to beat. Johnson took an excellent angle to make the tackle at about the 34.
Another look. Long strider. Motion again. Calhoun. Carter. Down near the 30. And there's Brandon Thurman once more. He is a busy man.
Grady may not be very big in the defensive backfield, but they have some hitters back there. Into the last play, Xavier Shorthouse made an excellent hit. He wears number 21. You can see right in the middle of your screen.
He can obviously run as well. Urbano in motion. Worley rolling the throw. Being chased. Throws for Durham way short. Good pressure by the Grady defense that time. Great pressure from Jabari Fletcher.
Double coverage downfield for Grady. Number 21 Shorthouse once again, assisted by Isaac Coleman from the corner position.
Third down and about 6. They've got to get the nose of the ball inside the 24. Time is a factor with 41 seconds left. Now here's a new formation. Urbano on the draw to the 30. Calhoun, of course, will call timeout here with 36 seconds left.
Excellent tackle by Tony Bryant, number 55 of Grady, right at the point of attack on Urbano, an ankle tackle before he was able to get the first down.
We ask Coach Ronnie Millen about his special teams this year.
This team, I tell you, these guys have dedicated themselves. You know, it's kind of ironic that last year we lost to Calhoun in the playoff, and these kids dedicated themselves a week after that loss and decided that, you know, hey, we're going to get in the weight room and we're going to get to working. The other great thing is this team doesn't have any one particular star. It's been a total team effort on both sides of the football. And week in and week out, it might be a different guy that gets the job done.
Coach Ronnie Millen.
He's out of Clark Atlanta University. Coach Hal Lamb out of West Georgia. So you have two competitors very close in their Division II football rankings.
Yes, they are. Fourth down and 8. Calhoun with the ball in the lead. Worley, motion again. Urbano now brings him to a stop, and now it's going to check off at the line of scrimmage and now call timeout. Obviously trying to get them to jump off sides. That's all I could think.
Great call. You saw him try to use the head bob there, but Grady wasn't buying it. So on 4th and about 6 or 7, Calhoun comes back to the sideline. But what a tremendous first half we've had so far, Tommy. The ebb and flow the high-powered offense being displayed by Calhoun, and Grady showing a resilience to come back and score on the big play themselves.
Well, the thing that you think about here is you see Blair's leg, how strong it is on the kickoffs. Do you attempt a field goal from here? You've got 36 seconds. It's 4th and 8. You're at the 33. Do you let Blair try one from here?
He has 42 of 44 points after touchdown. His range looks like it may top out around the 40 to 42-yard range.
Little is going to be the kicker. Little will attempt the point, or will attempt the field goal. Ball at the 38. Lamb will hold. Good snap. A little short.
Looked like it might have been tipped also at the line of scrimmage. There was that second sound once that ball was hit by the kicker. May have been a hand on it, but as it stands, the kick is short, and Grady will have an opportunity with 30 seconds remaining in the first half to go back on offense.
This is what Grady needed to happen at the end of the half here. Now, do you take a knee, or do you go for another bomb here?
You're playing in the dome your first time. You've had a team that's been down for so long. Grady's not going to go shy.
They won't take a knee here. So
They're not going to take a knee.
High formation. Simeon Kelly.
Like I was saying, Grady's going to take a knee.
Takes a knee. And they'll let the clock run out here unless Calhoun calls timeout. And the Yellow Jacket faithful, including their cheerleaders, are definitely happy at halftime. Calhoun 21, Grady 14, Mark. Let's go down to Gerald Oliveri on the sidelines.
Thanks a lot, Tommy. I'm here with Coach Lamb. And before the game, you talked about your players being awestruck, but it looks like they got out to a good start in the first half.
Well, actually, when we had that punt blocked, that's the first punt we've had blocked all year long, and you know, we came back and maintained our focus, and we're going into halftime with a 7-point lead.
So what do you look for going into the second half?
Well, we got to maintain some drives. They're doing a good job on defense, and we got to make plays when they're there. We had a couple of situations where we're there. We just got to make plays.
All right, well, good luck in the second half, Coach. Back up to you, Tommy.
We are at halftime, where the Calhoun Yellow Jackets lead the Grady Gray Knights by a score of 21-14. We're at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, where the H.W. Grady Knights of Sound are performing to a large crowd here at halftime. The Knights of Sound are under the direction of Diane Ryans and assistant Arnisa Wood. Drum majors Brad Cox and Sam Oden. Let's listen. Let's go down to the sidelines. Here's Gerald Oliveri.
Thanks a lot, Tommy. I'm here with Diane Ryans, the band director for the Knights of Sound. And there's been a lot of talk about the support that the football team has garnered, being the first team to come play in the Dome. But I know that's translated into a lot of support for the band as well. Just talk about what the community support has been like for the band. I know there's been a lot of support. A lot of people have come and support the team as well as the school.
I have a group of band parents, the Band Booster organization, and they've been outstanding. They've supported the band all year. They've gone the extra mile, and they've done everything that I've asked of them to do. And any things that I haven't even asked, they've been there to support the band.
And just talk about what your future plans are for the band going forward.
My plans is to continue to teach music, to teach them music. Next week we're involved in the middle school all-state auditions at Grady High School, and 2 weeks later some of my students will be going to all-state. So my focus is actually to teach music education. I'm doing things, I'm trying to make the band larger at Grady, so I'm going to be spending the next couple of months recruiting.
Now I know this was the holiday season. Was there any special preparations coming into the day?
There were additional preparations because, as you know, we were out of school as of Tuesday, so I had to bring my students in Wednesday and early this morning to try to get a little extra rehearsal in. So we've been doing a few extra things in order to prepare for this.
And just for you, what's the feeling like for you to come here and watch your band play in the Dome?
It's a great experience. It's great.
All right, well, thanks a lot, Diane Ryans, and we appreciate you. Back up to you, Tommy.
Okay. We are at halftime. Calhoun 21, Grady 14. The Calhoun High School Marching Yellow Jackets on the field under the direction of Michael Clark and Larry Brown. Drum major is Nikki Deaton. 185 members strong. Enjoy the Marching Yellow Jackets. Let's go down on the field to Gerald Oliveri and see what's going on the sideline. Gerald?
Thanks a lot, Tommy. Right now I'm here with Michael Clark, band director of the Marching Yellow Jackets. Man was worried about his hair before we came on camera. Let me tell you, it looks good. It's looking good, but let me tell you, your band is looking good too. What was it like coming down here to play in the Dome with the preparation?
We were just so excited to be able to come down here and do this, just to play in the big dome. You know, it's going to be great. We worked last week because we knew it was going to be a vacation. We didn't, you know, just in case we won that Friday night game. We practiced real hard last week so that we could take a little time off this week. But then we practiced Monday and Tuesday to get ready. So the kids are really excited. They're just real pumped.
Now, I know coming to play in the Dome was a very big event. There's a lot of support. Well, just talk about what the community support and all the parent support was like coming down here to play.
We're lucky in Calhoun, and I know a lot of other communities have that, but to have the support we have in Calhoun, we have a tremendous booster organization, both for the band, athletics, just the entire town. It's just extremely supportive of the school, and we could be really lucky to have that. And everybody was excited, you know, getting ready for the Dome, and it's just been a great thing.
Now, I know you received some superior ratings before. Just talk about some of the ratings that you've received in the past.
Well, we've been lucky. The kids have done a real good job, and this past year we went to the Ranburne Marching Festival over in Ranburne, Alabama, and received straight superior ratings. We're just real excited about that. The kids have done a great job.
How about going forward with the program? Do you have any future plans, or what do you plan for the program?
Well, we're going to keep going hopefully in the same direction, and we're planning a big trip for next year, and we've been invited to play for the Falcons, not the Falcons, the Hawks this year, so we may see how that works out.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, Michael Clark, and we're going to send it back up to Tommy. Good luck in the second half with the football team.
Thank you. Go Jackets.
Let's go to the highlights. It was knockout blow after knockout blow in the first half. 21-14. Here's the block punt, which set up the first Grady touchdown. Thurman falls on it. You get the toss sweep as we go to the house, and Grady gets the early lead as Dexter Barnett scores.
First time that Calhoun had a punt block all season.
Urbano answered for the Yellow Jackets with this dazzling run, and you can just see him burn it as he breaks into the secondary on a counter trap right up the middle. What a great run. Wally brought him up for a short run, and Urbano scored once more. And then on a toss sweep, just fundamental football, blocking, tackling Urbano once more. Urbano, great running back, and he has had a great first half. Grady answered. Tremendous throw from Simeon Kelly to DeMarcus Watts, who went up and got it. And we're at the half, 21-14. Take a look at the stats, if you will.
That was the confidence touchdown that Grady needed in the second quarter, but the dramatic difference in time of possession is what Grady had to contend with on defense. 16 minutes they were on the field.
Chris Urbano, 16 rushes, 118 yards, 2 touchdowns. Great half of football, 21-14. We are at the half at the Dome. Calhoun leading Grady. The second half follows. Calhoun 21, Grady 14. Let's go down to the sidelines. Gerald Oliveri has Coach Ronnie Millen of the Grady Gray Knights.
That's right, Tommy. Here with Coach Millen. Just talk about that last play when you got the touchdown to Watts. Just talk about what that did for your team.
Well, that gave us a good spark. You know, we were down 2 touchdowns, and that touchdown put us within 7 points. So, you know, we know Calhoun is an explosive team, so we don't want to get too far behind.
Now, I know one of the big problems was time of possession. Calhoun had the ball for 16 minutes. Did you talk about that at all or address that point?
Well, part of that, you know, we had 2 turnovers. That kind of helped that. So we just have to cut down on the turnovers and then keep the ball when we get it and keep them off the field.
All right, well, good luck in the second half, Coach. Back up to you, Tommy.
Mark, as we take a look at this ball game, we felt like it was going to be one of those heavyweight fights, knockout blow after knockout blow. Could a team that had not been offensively dominant in Grady answer a Calhoun score? And the answer to that was a resounding yes, with a tremendous throw by Simeon Kelly, which got Grady back in the ball game at 21-14. What a great effort on their part.
Tremendous effort. And you compare and contrast the 2 teams, Tommy. Calhoun comes in with a lot of power and strength, but Grady has a lot of speed. They've got skilled players on the wide receiver position especially that can take advantage of this field turf. So we may see that same back and forth swing in the second half. Really is going to be dependent upon which team can win that early battle of field position and not turn the ball over.
Well, I think that's been the key in the game because Grady got their last 7 off the turnover, and of course Grady got their first 7 off of the block punt. So special teams have been good for Grady, and of course the big play, the big gash is what you want to stay away from if you're Grady. If you're Calhoun, you want to make this now a time-consuming game. You want to keep the ball away, and they've done that in the first half because Grady has proved that they are definitely dangerous anytime they have the ball anywhere on the field.
If there's any difference in the first half, Simeon Kelly's been a lot more aggressive in his passing attack. Calhoun, on the other hand, with Worley and having that tremendous running game, they've only gone to the pass when they needed to.
Blair will kick it off as we start the second half. Grady will go on offense. Deep to receive, Rico Robinson, Dexter Barnett. And we did have a return which Grady set up a tremendous wall on the last return, and it's obvious their special teams are special indeed. Blair back at the 30. Quite a leg on this young man, and he doesn't kick the extra points or the field goals. He is just a kickoff guy. And now an onside kick, which is a surprise, and it's going to be recovered at the 35-yard line. Talk about the leg, and then you get an onside kick.
Drilled it right at one of the up men for Grady on the return team. Ricocheted off him all the way back to the 35-yard line.
Darryl Farley on the ball. Grady takes over at the 35. Simeon Kelly, I felt, had a great first half. He made things happen when he needed to make them happen. And of course his tailback Barnett had a great first half as well.
Kelly has a quick release, kind of a slingshot type of delivery. Once he gets it back, it doesn't take him a lot of time to load and fire.
Wide slot to the left. Kelly to the tailback. Just straight ahead power football to Dexter Barnett.
Barnett with a tremendous run on first down, stepping out of the tackle of number 14, Aaron Kidd, at the last minute. Puts his head down, nothing fancy, but Grady on their first offensive play picks up a first down.
And great blocking at the point of attack. If you'll watch here, the hole opens right there. And when you get past the linebackers, you've got trouble. Barnett, great acceleration as he came through past the line of scrimmage.
Number 22 was Cedric Sykes, throwing a key block on the inside of the line of scrimmage, as we will have a measurement.
I think a little shy, just inches. Second and very short upcoming. They've got to get the ball just past the 46. They're almost at that point. We're about 6 inches shy of the first down. I noticed right away, Mark, and you probably did too, that Calhoun's adjustment defensively at the half is they're rolling up that linebacker in a hurry now in that 3-man front.
Their linebackers are the tacklers.
Yeah. Formation. Quarterback sneak. Kelly has the first down up near midfield, up near the 48-yard line. Welch and Locklear on the stop for the Yellow Jackets.
The leading tacklers are at linebacker for Calhoun. Spector had 76, Matt Sharp 94, and Kurt Welch had 106 tackles for the season.
Rest assured, Simeon Kelly may be just a quarterback, but he is exceptionally strong. Did you see the surge? Wide receivers right. They're going to run the option. Kelly up near midfield, gain of a couple. Calhoun read that one perfectly. Locklear, Sharp, Kidd, Welch, the entire Yellow Jacket defense on the carry. Let's see, second down, gain of about 2, so it's second down and 8.
Running the option play as Kelly did on that last play, you have to be very decisive in your reads and your decision making at the line of scrimmage. Kelly picked up 2 yards, a short gain.
And it also gives the Calhoun defense something else to think about because Kelly had not optioned the entire game. Now dropping straight to throw. Receivers out there. intercepted by Durham at the 26. Durham returns it all the way back to the 46. Chris Durham, the big wide receiver, defensive back, picked it off and returns it back near midfield up to the 45, 46-yard line.
Kelly trying to go on a deep fade route at the sideline, about the 25-yard line, and throws into double coverage. There's the pass, and there's the pick.
Durham. Here's another look at it. Not a lot of pressure. Just tried to force it in there. And Durham at that 6'5", 6'6". He was high in the air to get it. The give is to Carter across the left side up to the 47-yard line, gain of maybe 1 or 2.
Outstanding play by Tony Bryant, playing off the block of Connor Stewart of Calhoun. Coaches always preach technique. Tremendous fighting off the block and getting in on the tackle.
Worley has them back at the 40, brings them up. The Yellow Jacket offensive line really doing a great job. Now, going to put the power tight end to the right side of the field. The give is to Urbano. He breaks a tackle or two and gets into Grady territory down at about the 48-yard line. Brandon Thurman and Joshua Williams on the stop for the Gray Knights. Leaves us with about a 3rd and 2. They do love this kid. They love to get the ball in Urbano's hands at Calhoun. What a workhorse. Over 120 yards probably up to this point. 17 carries, 73 yards, 2 touchdowns against Fitzgerald last week. Now the power side, the tight end moves to the left side, still with that wing formation. Now they're going to give on the end around to Strickland. And Strickland has first down yardage and much more, but is upended by Isaac Coleman down at the 30. Now this is picture perfect tackling. Watch the end of this play.
Coleman gets a rise out of the crowd, but unfortunately Calhoun's offense, which comes into this ball game with 3,400 rushing yards, is showing exactly why on that last play to the sideline.
You never know who's going to get the ball with Calhoun. 2 running backs, the wide receivers on the end around. They run the counters, but form tackling at a premium was perfect on that one. The give is to Carter once more, who squirms his way down to the 20. Very close to a first down. Darryl Farley on the stop.
It's like a pitcher having a great fastball and being able to follow it with the changeup. You set up with the power of Urbano, and then you come back with the speed of number 28.
This is inside running. This is difficult running. This is not around the ends. This is inside running. And you're getting great trap blocking on the inside with the Calhoun offensive line. Second down and about a yard. Motion again. The little counter trap did not work to Strickland. It's the very same play they scored on to the other side with Urbano. Loss of about 4 on the play. Great defense by Grady. Third and 5.
Mark this one in the Grady defensive playbook. Early second half, 3rd and 5. Your defense needs to stop right here.
Wide slot to the right. Worley rolling the throw, pressure. Urbano, touchdown.
Rico Robinson had Urbano at the 10-yard line, and Urbano giveth the leg and taketh it away.
This kid is special. Sophomore. Watch the missed tackle here. There's the pass, complete.
You get Urbano into space.
Shoulder. Little. Set to attempt the point after. Lamb will hold. The kick is up. The kick is good. Calhoun 28. Grady 14. 7:07 left in the 3rd quarter. This kid Urbano, whether he's a receiver.
He's leading cheers now.
6 plays, 54 yards, 3 minutes and 9 seconds. Urbano on a 24-yard touchdown reception. He's had a career today.
Came in with some gaudy numbers and demonstrating to the Georgia Dome audience exactly why. Rarely do you see a player that combines power and the speed. 2 players for Grady, and they just peeled off of him at the 10-yard line, and Urbano scores once again. Now the challenge for Grady is back to one of turnovers. The interception sets up the Calhoun touchdown.
Calhoun, back, that's where it's at.
Worley sent motion to the left and then rolled to the right, had great protection. Blair will kick it off now. Deep to receive. Xavier Shorthouse and Rico Robinson for Grady. It's 28-14. Blair, the soccer kicker, with the tremendous play. High and very deep. Shorthouse signals for a fair catch midway through the end zone.
Third time he's done that. First kickoff was about 8 yards deep, and it's turned out to be one of the great weapons that Calhoun has used to slow down the Grady return team.
Well, I've always heard that offense puts them in the house, but kicking and defense wins championships. And it looks like both teams have the entire package here today. Now, Grady needs to answer here. If this is a heavyweight fight, they've got to get up.
You're not pressed yet. You have plenty of time. No reason to start panicking on offense. Go to do what you do best. That is trying to pick up first downs first.
That's right. I formation, and that's exactly what they're doing. The give is to Barnett. Barnett out of the I formation, just your basic pro set. Slot left, I formation, run the isolation. And this is a special running back. He can get you down the field.
A lot of shuttling of players in and out in this third quarter for Grady on offense. As mentioned at the top of the game, they have a lot of skill players that they can turn to.
Simeon Kelly, the quarterback. Barnett, the tailback. 2 wide receivers with a short slot to the right. Just a change of formation. Now going to run the trap, and that did not work. Fumble, but I believe he was down when the ball popped out of there.
First disruption on that play was Kurt Welsh running right up to the line of scrimmage and getting early penetration as we have a player down for Grady.
And Locklear over there to help out. Looks like Barnett may be the running back. Yeah, they separated the ball, but his knee was already down, obviously, according to the officials.
Fans at the Georgia Dome get the benefit of the slow motion replay, so there was a bit of a rise out of the crowd right below us from Calhoun, Georgia.
That is one thing the officials don't have the advantage of, is the slow motion replay. So you call it the way you see it. It is 3rd down and 8.
When you consider the weather outside and the fact that these teams have worked so hard to get to this position in the state semifinals, it's a wonderful thing to see the joy on all the kids' faces and their supporters' faces, just being able to make the visit and the trip to the Georgia Dome.
This is a special thing. This is not only a special thing for the players and the cheerleaders, the parents, the schools, but across the state. Georgia high schools everywhere, they're interested in this. This is one of those points where you want to get to the Dome. The ball pops loose.
Barnett on that previous carry.
And we're still trying to assume that he's okay, and they're just taking some precautionary measures here.
Well, it wasn't the first hit. It seemed like it was that second hit. Came in right around his shoulders.
Right.
And he's just now being talked to on the field of play right at the 20-yard line as they're trying to get him at least back into a sitting position.
Right. Barnett, as I said, the outstanding tailback for the Gray Knights. And you can see the concern on the faces across the way.
What this also does, Tommy, when you have a delay for injury of this nature, it really changes the tenor of a ball game. You can look at some of the anxious expressions on the sideline, on the Grady sideline. But one of the biggest challenges if you're a coach is if you have a lengthy injury, to really keep your players focused and then back into the game once play is resumed.
Well, you've got Sykes and Cohen and Barnett as your tailbacks. So you're really concerned for young Barnett, the tailback, who is still down on the field.
And this is something that cuts across competitive lines because football players share a bit of a fraternity. So there's just as much concern on the Calhoun sideline as there is on the Grady sideline for one of their mates.
Exactly.
Fortunately, he's now in a sitting position, but you can tell just by the position of his head.
Other games coming up later today. Lincoln County Red Devils, perennial powers at 10-3 against the Johnson County Trojans, 12-1. If you're not familiar with Johnson County, think Herschel Walker many years ago. That's the 3 o'clock game. Then at 6 tonight, the Baldwin Braves 10-3 against the Northside Warner Robins Eagles at 13-0. Then our finale tonight in 2 days of fun. Another big 4A matchup, the Griffin Bears at 12-1 and the Statesboro Blue Devils at 13-0. What a great 2 days of football on Thanksgiving weekend. It doesn't get any better than this, Mark.
All live on GPB, as you can see, Dexter Barnett holding his neck going to the sideline.
Here comes Grady now, 3rd and long. It's 3rd and about 8.5. 3 wide receivers to the right. Kelly dropping the throw. Chased. Breaks out of the tackle. Another. And now in thick, heavy traffic back at the 12. Tremendous pursuit by Nick Davison. By Kurt Welch.
Nothing but improvisation by Kelly as this play breaks down. You can see him run into his own man and in the grasp of number 3, Sharp. Try to make something out of nothing, but the pursuit of Calhoun is just too omnipresent. And Grady now is back right on the doorstep of its own end zone.
Andreas Thomas to kick it away, standing back in the shadow of the goalpost. Chris Durham, of course, back in single safety near midfield. Good snap and a good kick. Fair catch taken by Durham at the 49 at the 5:02 mark of the 3rd quarter. So Calhoun forces a 3 and out. Shot of the young running back Dexter Barnett on the sideline.
The good news for Barnett was that he was able to go to the sideline under his own power.
Let's see if Gerald has any information for us down on the sideline. Gerald Oliveri.
Hey, Tommy, right now they're taking a look at Dexter's neck. They've been trying to massage it back and forth. He looks like he's going to be okay. Of course, he was one of the former Crim players and a very instrumental part of the team. He rushed for 158 yards in that 2nd round against Laney. And so very important part of the team, but it does look like he's going to be okay. Back up to you, Tommy.
Thanks, Gerald. Carter on the carry. Farley on the stop. Obviously, adjustments by the Grady defense, Mark, at the halftime on the counter trap.
One of the few plays we've seen Grady stop Calhoun for a loss on a running play.
2nd down and about 13.5. Got to get just inside the 39. Warling, motion, dropping straight to throw. Protection breaks down. Excellent defense by Grady.
2nd big play by Tony Bryant, number 55, who came flying in with enough closing speed to stop the pass attempt by Calhoun.
Interesting call. The straight drop back with the fake rather than the rollout, which we saw on the touchdown play. Now trying to dodge bullets, but not the one of Bryant. Great defensive effort by Grady that time. 3rd and very, very long.
The Grady sideline trying to urge on their defense.
3rd and about 20. Motion again. Urbano. Now going to throw the hitch to Durham, and Grady's ready. Another loss.
Outstanding play that time by number 30, Isaac Coleman, from his cornerback position for Grady, closing right at the moment the ball was being received by Calhoun.
Little will kick it away. You knew they were going to look to Durham, try to isolate him one-on-one, and they did that. And Grady was right there. Nowhere for Durham to go. Little back at his 25. Good snap. Oh, another howitzer shot, Mark. Call for the fair catch late. So let's see what they do here.
There's a flag down at the 25-yard line.
DeMarcus Watts. Now there will be some discussion about this one, I'm sure.
Exactly. You mentioned the signaling of the fair catch. Calhoun had excellent pursuit at the point of reception of that last punt.
Let's let the officials explain it to us.
We have an invalid fair catch signal on the receiving team. 5-yard penalty, first down.
We suspected that. It was a little late. You have to make a clear hand signal and hold it high in the air. And there you see it late. Here's Grady. Excellent smash off the right side by Zach Cohen. Grady has stayed with their game plan. 28-14. Time still not a factor. 2:45 left in the quarter. Excellent game. Excellent gain here. Second down. Now on about 3, up at about the 27 or 28-yard line.
Tommy, when Grady's been close to their own red zone, they've been very conservative on offense, as you mentioned.
Motion now by Grady. And again once more to Cohen. Very little gain. Excellent pursuit by the Calhoun defense. Matt Sharp, one of the first ones over there. Kurt Welch. Grady running substitutions in every play, keeping everybody sharp. Of course, 94 tackles on the year, 10 thrown for losses, 5 sacks. He's had a great season.
With Barnett out, Thomas and Watts become the focal points for the Grady offense.
Timeout on the field. Grady calls a timeout. With the score, Calhoun 28, Grady 14. Here's a comment from Coach Millen about what he likes about coaching.
Coaching, I tell you, you get a chance to instill some discipline. You get a chance to touch kids' lives. You know, a lot of times, you know, it'll be maybe 10, 15 years down the road before some of these kids can appreciate some of the things that we do as coaches. And, you know, that's the thing that, you get in and you try to work them real hard, and you don't try to just be their friends. And I always tell the kids, it may be 10, 15 years down the road, and you realize some of the things that we're trying to instill in you.
Coaches do make an impact, and Coach Millen is making an impact. I formation. Excellent pursuit once more by Matt Sharp. We had just called his number, gave you his stats, and he is all over Simeon Kelly.
Matt Sharp came into the ball game today with 5 sacks. Chalk one up, did not let Kelly go as he's trying to spin out of contact. Grady now with a long 4th and 15.
Sharp with great footwork. Andreas Thomas will kick it away. Durham back at midfield. for Calhoun. Good snap. And again, a good kick. Durham going to take it. Fair catch. Taken at the 45. And the Yellow Jackets will take over there with 1:11 left in the third quarter at the 45. And on the exchange of possessions, Calhoun comes up with an advantage. First down at the 45. Both teams have stayed with their game plans. Very little diversion from their original game plan. Worley makes the right side the strong side and gives to Urbano. A gain of 6 on the play.
Once again, Tony Bryant, number 55 for Grady, who's had an excellent second half. Very active in the second quarter as well.
Second down and about 4. Gain of 6. Urbano has been a workhorse the entire game. 2nd and 4. We're under a minute to go in the third quarter. And Grady needs to make something happen here defensively. Double wing. Durham wide to the left. Urbano goes in motion. First down yardage up to the 43 as Carter burst forward. When you put these two kids together, Carter and Urbano, it's really very difficult. It strains a defense, especially when you've got 6'5" and a 4.45, 40 on the outside out there, Mark. You know that's it's a lot to prepare for.
Somewhat of a thunder and lightning combination. You have one power back with decent speed, then you have another with lightning quick moves.
Worley brings him up. Durham, the wide receiver, to the left. The give once more to Urbano. Flag goes down.
Right in the middle of the line of scrimmage.
Elijah Carmichael, the linebacker from Grady, made the stop. Very little, if any, gain. Generally, when you see the flag go into that portion of the field, offensive holding. Coach Lamb encouraging his charges.
Holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
First down and 20. Maybe a little more than 20 here.
If you're Coach Ronnie Millen of Grady, you're hoping for a big play from your defense.
That's the end of the third quarter. As we head to the fourth quarter, we're reminded that the quarter cannot end on a penalty. So here's a play that happened while we were away. Worley tried to hit Durham with the bomb and was overthrown. So we're back to begin the fourth quarter of play. Second down, 20, 12 minutes of football remaining, Mark.
Talk about a big play from your defense. You want them to turn offensive right now.
Urbano in motion. Worley dropping to throw. Hits his tight end down to the 35. That's Kurt Welch. And it's the first time we've seen Worley go to the tight end today. Welch, the tight end, right down the middle of the field. So now they've given you something else to think about if you're the Grady defense.
Welch also plays linebacker in that alignment. When asked if he had any preference for playing offense or defense, he said he didn't care as long as he got to hit somebody.
Xavier Shorthouse on the tackle. Down at the 35, third down and about a yard. Motion again. And to give to Carter for the first down to about the 29-yard line.
Carter, that we've been describing as the speed back, showing some tough running ability inside, picking up the first down for Calhoun.
Inside the 30. Watch the blocks up front.
Well, let's set up the fourth quarter. Grady's defense would like nothing better than to stop Calhoun right now with 11 minutes to play in this ball game. A score here makes it a very difficult challenge.
28-14, first and 10. Clock moving. The power side now moved to the left side. Going to put a man in motion. Going to get to the flanker, Strickland, who's going to be caught and thrown for a loss back at the 32-yard line. Loss on the play. Excellent defense by the Grady defense that time.
Joshua Williams makes contact and wraps up for about a 2-yard loss. Coaches smile when they see those types of tackles.
Love them. Watch this.
In the open field, Williams with the closing ability and the proper technique, just like they write it up in the book.
That's the third time they've run that very same play, and it has not worked a time. So they may go to something else when they think that one. Double wing formation. There's the fake off that play. Worley throwing to his tight end, complete. Down at the 17, Kurt Welch.
On his back. Welch had actually slipped on the field turf, was going down, and makes the reception.
This is a linebacker tight end, folks. Watch the hands on this linebacker.
Right there.
Great catch. Another look. They sprint Worley out.
Now the bad news is there's a flag back at the 32-yard line. Welch with the acrobatic catch.
Welch 5 receptions on the year, 123 yards, averaging almost 25 yards per catch.
Ineligible receiver downfield on the offense. 5-yard penalty.
5-yard penalty marked off back up to the 36. So it's second and very long now. Second down and 13.
Is it just me, or does Hal Lamb look a little bit like Greg Maddux?
He does resemble him. Double wing formation. They got Durham isolated on the right side. Now the throwback to the left side with blocking. Urbano, 25, 20, 15, 10, touchdown Urbano.
Flag at the 22-yard line. Tremendous blocking right at about the 30-yard line. We'll sort this out. But Urbano, as you mentioned again, with that flash of speed down the sideline.
37-yard touchdown run and catch from Urbano. Flag down at about the 22. Man, this kid can accelerate. When he gets in the open field, he just really turns it on.
That's coming up to be against Calhoun based on the preliminary indication. So that great run by Urbano will be called back.
Clipping on the play, I think, is what's going to be called here. Preliminary look, anyway.
We have clipping on the offense. 15-yard penalty. Still second down.
9:45 left. Calhoun 28-14 over Grady in the Double-A semifinals. The winner of this one makes it to the state championship game. Durham wide to the left, Strickland wide to the right. The short snap to Urbano. Urbano, touchdown.
Key block thrown by Kurt Welch at the point of attack, allowing Urbano on the direct snap, as you so accurately called, clear sailing all the way in for the score for Calhoun.
137-yard touchdown called back. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a 37-yard touchdown that counts. And we'll take another look at it, hopefully, in a moment. Right now, Little will attempt the point from placement. Calhoun now increasing their lead to 20, 34-14. Good snap. Kick is up. It is good. Calhoun 35, Grady 14.
2 years ago, we had the benefit of seeing Brandon Sutherland for Greater Atlanta Christian in the Double-A semifinals.
Watch this.
Urbano has a lot of the same skill as Sutherland as he takes the short snap outside of the key block, throwing inside all the way for the score.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a sophomore.
Brandon Sutherland now playing for the University of Georgia, but look at the speed by Urbano. No one really got a hand on him. And a great block thrown way downfield by Philip Parker of Calhoun.
Scoring drives, 7 plays, 55 yards, 3 minutes and 28 seconds. The Yellow Jackets lead it by 21. Blair to kick it off once more. 9:43 left in this one. The Yellow Jackets having a good time today. Xavier Shorthouse, Enrico Robinson deep, Blair. Is he having a day or what? 163 yards, 3 touchdowns, 63 yards receiving, and 1 touchdown reception. 4 touchdowns on the day. Just in the end zone. Blair with a long kick. The thought here is, what if he played here every week? We asked Coach Lamb what he likes about coaching.
Well, I love to coach because I like being around kids. We try to make a difference in kids' lives. We know football is important, winning is important, but the main objective here is to try to make a difference in kids' lives. And when they come back to see us, 4 or 5 years later, we hopefully made a difference in their career.
Kelly hands to the tailback on first down. The give is to Zach Cohen.
Calhoun is sensing it now. You can see the animation on the defensive front line after that last tackle.
Spector on the tackle, a short loss on the play. 9:20 left in the ball game. Calhoun with all the momentum at this point.
When I first looked at the numbers on Adam Arbrano, I thought the 13-yard average was a typo. And getting a chance to see him firsthand, that was no typo.
2nd down and 11, Grady. Back at their 19-yard line. Kelly sends a man in motion. We've got a whistle down on the field. Let's see. It's encouraging to see Barnett back in the ball game. Obviously, the neck injury not serious.
Dead ball foul. Ball start on the offense. 5-yard penalty.
If you're Grady High School at this point in the game with 8 minutes and 55 seconds remaining, what you want is to maintain your composure. You're down by a lot. You've come a long way. Now you want to see if you can just execute your offense.
This is a team that came in undefeated, and you don't want it to unravel here. Excellent call, good block outside. Another broken tackle, and there's a flag down on the play. Durham got knocked down over there. Dexter Barnett on the carry.
One flag thrown in the area of Devon Tangelo Crawford of Grady, right at about the 20-yard line.
It was 2nd and 16 after the illegal procedure penalty. Let's see now. The official will tell us what will happen here. There is a possibility Calhoun, they're going to take the penalty. Yes, they've decided. 8:44 left in the ball game. Calhoun leads it by 21. Calhoun 35, Grady 14. And
we have flipping on the offense. Half the distance to the goal.
Half the distance to the goal, and I'm sure Coach Millen really is very disappointed in the last 2 or 3 minutes here for Grady.
Got a quick look at Arbrano once on the sideline. If I'm not mistaken, Brandon Sutherland wore number 36 for Greater Atlanta Christian also.
I'm not sure. Kelly dropping to throw, in trouble. Now back up to the 10, Dexter Barnett.
If you're on the Calhoun sideline, this is that point in time of the game where it's actually fun to play football. if you're on the Grady sideline, all you can do is try to regroup and say, fellas, we had a great season. Let's see if we can play this last 8 minutes out with some pride.
There's Mr. Urbano. The thing that I like that he did earlier, and I didn't make mention of it, I should have, since he does that. He always hugs his offensive linemen when they come to the sideline. Did you notice that? He always calls them over and hugs them.
I love his enthusiasm. When he scored the second touchdown, he went to the sideline and started leading cheers with the Calhoun faithful on the sideline.
Here's Grady. Gonna run the screen. Kelly in trouble. And the ball bounces around out there, almost caught by an offensive lineman. Joshua Williams, the intended receiver.
Total yards. That tells the story of the second half.
Calhoun 114, Grady -1. The time of possession would be the same. Back to kick it away. And Dreyfus Thomas standing in the end zone.
We have an ineligible receiver downfield on the offense. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
Durham, of course, in single safety back up around the 44 or 45. This is no fun. There's no fun. It's no fun punting when you're 21 points down, but it's no fun punting from your end zone when you're 21 down. Bad things happen back in there.
Also, no fun punting to Durham.
Good snap. High kick. And Durham fair catches it up at about the 38-yard line. So Calhoun up at the 36 now. Will take over at 7:39 left in the ball game and a 21-point lead.
Although these two teams are facing each other in the state semifinals, they're also rivals in the classroom. They are rivals on the debate front, as Calhoun debate coach Lan Bearden says Grady is their biggest rival.
It's amazing how rivalries spill over from one portion of the school to the other. Calhoun, motion again, the give to Carter. Carter breaks another tackle or two and goes down to the 23-yard line.
Speaking of the debate team, Calhoun's junior varsity debate team knocked out Grady in the quarterfinals of a debate meet that was held just a week ago, and Grady's varsity team won a close 2-1 decision over Calhoun in another quarterfinal round.
Jabari Fletcher on the last tackle. First down, 10 yards to go. 7:15 left in the ball game. Motion again, the give to Carter, breaking tackles and gonna be caught and thrown. No gain. Excellent defensive surge that time by Grady.
Rico Robinson that time with a tremendous textbook tackle. When you're in the fourth quarter of a game, when you're down 35-14, this is where coaches discover which are my real football players. So I'm sure that Coach Millen is taking notes for next year as well.
Darryl Farley also in on the stop. Second down and about 8. Nose of the ball at about the 22-yard line. 6:35 left in the ball game. Calhoun Yellow Jackets, of course, in no hurry. Slot to the left. Move the tight end to the left side. Worley gives to Urbano. Down inside the 20 to about the 18-yard line.
Farley on the tackle once again for Grady. Last man getting up. Once again, number 76. We haven't called his name a lot in the second half, but Brandon Thurman came in as Grady's leading tackler. If he's not making the tackle, he's in the neighborhood.
He is in the neighborhood. Thurman has had a great game and a great season. Third down and 5. Worley pitches to Urbano. Gets a block at the corner. Urbano first down and more down inside the 4. Down to about the 3-yard line. Well, they're going to mark it just inside the 5. Speaking of Thurman, as we were, Thurman on the tackle.
Number 2, Hagen Spector of Calhoun, lines up at running back. He's a linebacker as well, but number 2 makes a crushing block, allowing Urbano to get to the sideline.
Great blocking up front today by Calhoun. Worley changing the play. Now to the fullback, right up the middle.
And that's your reward.
Spector on the touchdown. Tremendous blocking up front by this Calhoun football team. And it's now 41-14 with 5:08 left.
And the offensive line for Calhoun is not that big, but what they do is they use their speed and great technique to create space.
Jimmy Little will attempt yet another point from placement. Trey Lamb will hold. Low snap. Lamb picks it up, puts it on the tee, and Little drills it home. Calhoun 42, Grady 14.
Last look at the touchdown by Spector, and that was a reward touchdown. You throw a block on the previous play, we're going to let you handle the ball, young man, and see if you can get in the end zone.
Talk about wide open spaces. Up front, they really did the job. 5 plays, 36 yards, 2 minutes and 31 seconds. Very workmanlike. Spector, 5-yard touchdown drive, and the Yellow Jackets stretch it to 28 with 5:08 left in the ball game. Mark,
before the game, you talked about players going both ways, and we go back to Spector, Matt Sharp, and Kurt Welsh. 3 players that line up at linebacker, but they all have input on the offensive unit.
Blair will kick it off once again. Shorthouse and Robinson deep to receive for Grady. 42-14. Blair, very methodical. There's your time of possession. That tells the story of 42-14, 27 minutes plus to 16. And into the end zone once again. There you go. Automatic touchback.
I hope someone in the Midtown or Old Fourth Ward neighborhood decides to throw a party for this Grady Gray Knights team that a few years ago was, well, let's just be honest, they were bad. And to make it to the state semifinals today, after 3 years of gradual growth under their head coach, Ronnie Miller, they have nothing, absolutely nothing to be ashamed of at Grady. And I wouldn't be surprised that this exposure will help their program jump to the next level in the future.
Well, they went 7-4, then they went 8-4, and now it's going to be 13-1. Certainly a lot to be proud of over the last 3 years at Grady. High formation, new quarterback in the ball game, and a new tailback. Fresh legs down on the carpet down there, and the ball popped loose, and I think Calhoun has recovered.
You get new ball players into the game, and sometimes that's the downside. After a first down gain, Grady puts it on the carpet, and Calhoun recovers.
Joshua Williams on the carry. Let's take another look here. There's the give to Williams. Excellent speed to the corner. Ball on the ground. Backside tackle by Kurt Welch, yanked it away.
We keep mentioning those same names for some strange reason. Kurt Welch, Sharp, and Spector. That time it was Welch punching the ball out from the ball carrier.
There it is on the ground. Lamb in at quarterback and going to give it to Carter, who turns the corner and goes out of bounds at about the 22-yard line. Stopping the clock with 4 minutes and 50 seconds left. Yet another first down for the Yellow Jackets.
Just to replay, for those of you just joining us, at halftime this game was 21-14. Now Grady finds itself suddenly on the short end of a 42-14 score. So Calhoun has really asserted itself in the second half.
The turnovers and the time of possession tell the tale. 4 turnovers for Grady, 1 for Calhoun. Almost 28 minutes of possession now for Calhoun. Down to the 19. The give is to Carter. The gain is a couple.
Calhoun pulling a lot of its starters out and to the sideline to the applause of its crowd that traveled down here from northern Georgia.
A lot of new numbers in there. Dustin Faber, Trey Lamb will be the quarterback. Wide receiver to the left. Lamb caught in no man's land back there when he didn't get the handoff exchange back at the 25.
That was pretty tricky for a second unit. Your first play call, you calling a double ball fake.
Jabari Fletcher on the stop. That's scary territory back there when you miss the exchange, Mark. I'm telling you. The first thing he'll say when he goes back to the huddle was, "Where were you?" 3rd down now and about 14 yards to go. Lamb on the counter to the 21. Dion Kennedy on the carry.
Grady's athletic director, Douglas Slade, mentioned the fact that he had been around the school for 27 years and he had never seen the type of enthusiasm around the community, and mentioned also that the team, Grady High School, has really brought the entire community together.
A great effort by this Grady Gray Knight football team, and a great effort by Calhoun. This has been a great high school football game. 42-14 Calhoun. But the turnovers and the time of possession tell the tale. William Combs for the touchdown.
Flag way back at the 18-yard line, however. We'll sort that one out after the apparent score by Calhoun, and due to the, judging by the initial indication, it will be a hold against Calhoun. But their second and their third unit ball players showing as much drive and determination as that first string.
That is true. Listen, they're playing with all the enthusiasm of, as if the game has just started. So you can't ask a player not to play hard in this situation.
Think of it this way. Playing in the Georgia Dome is one of those experiences that you will remember a lifetime. Most of these players will not go to the next level.
Holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Just to complete that thought, if you get a chance to play in the Georgia Dome, you're going to go all for it.
That's true. It's a special day for them, even in spite of the loss on the Grady side of the field. As you can see, the dejection over there. But it's understandable, Mark.
Just to tell your friends and family, I played in the Dome.
The same play once more doesn't work this time as Grady snuffs it out at about the 29. The give was once more to William Combs, who had the penalty touchdown on the play before. Coach Lamb, would you think he's excited on the sidelines? He looks very happy over there. So it's going to be Charlton County and Calhoun now for the Class AA championship next week. 2:31 left in the ball game. Jeremy Turner, sophomore, will run the offense, replacing Simeon Kelly. There's no experience like game experience. Rolling, looking to throw. Got a man out there. Almost caught up at the 49-yard line. Bounces away. Intended to Brandon Outlaw. Sophomore tight end.
Outlaw actually had 2 shots at that pass. Once where it hit him in the hand. Second, he's going down and the ball ricocheted almost to his chest, so he had a second shot at the pass reception.
Just a little Gatorade, I'm sure. I promise you, Coach Lamb told him, if you pour Gatorade on me, there's wind sprints ahead.
They didn't get him with the cooler. They got him with just 2 cups.
just a small portion, Coach. Quarterback barks his signals. Going to give to his tailback. Got some room at the corner, and a flag goes down yet again. That's Dexter Barnett, who went out with an injury back last quarter. He's back in there. Barnett on the carry.
You can always tell how much respect players have for their coaches. Now, Coach Lamb must be a taskmaster because he only got the 2 cups of Gatorade, and that was very gentle at that.
I would bet you that he said yesterday, if we win, no Gatorade bath. So they got him 2 little cups on the shoulders. What a nice shot. Whoops.
Looks like they got one of the assistant coaches instead of Coach Lamb. He's a stand-in.
There you go. We'll pour it on him.
Holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty, still second down.
The body language says it all, doesn't it? 42-14, 2:14 to go. Jeremy Turner fakes, rolls, gonna tuck it and run, and get back to the 33. Justin Groen on the stop. Less than 2 minutes left in the ball game. As they play out the string here, it has been Calhoun in the second half. Teams make adjustments. Calhoun made all the right ones in the second half. 3rd down and 6. Wide slot to the left, I formation. And give it on the quick trap right up the middle and get the first down. The simplest of plays. Robert Byrd on the quick hitter. Here's your AA championship matchup. Charlton beat Greene earlier today, 34-33. Calhoun over Grady in this one. Looks like a classic matchup. Charlton County and Calhoun for the state AA championship. Up at the 42. Gonna run the option. Got a great block on the corner. And the quarterback runs it down to the 45. Jeremy Turner, what a great block on the corner out there.
Another block thrown by Anthony Lowe of Grady. So it shows that they're still trying to play hard and they're into Calhoun territory.
The younger players really need this to help continue build the Grady program. Excellent point.
And you have to have some perspective on where Grady was just 5 years ago to really appreciate what they're doing this afternoon.
Exactly. 1st down 10, Gray Knights down at the Calhoun 46-yard line. Gonna fake. But can't escape harm's way. We've got a face mask, I'm sure, at the 45. Somebody reaching in there and grabbing.
Great call, Tommy. Plain view. You see it all the way up here. So he's trying to spin away from pursuit. And when you get 2nd and 3rd line ball players into the ball game, they get a little overexcited when they get those first hits.
Face mask. Pickens and Nicholas on the stop. 27 seconds left in this one. Still 3 more great games coming your way today. 5 more tomorrow.
I'm having so much fun. Let's do this again tomorrow.
Let's do it again tomorrow.
Personal foul, face mask on the defense, 15-yard penalty, still 1st down.
1st and 5 now down at the 40. Time for maybe a couple more here. Don't go anywhere. Coming up next, perennial power Lincoln County and Johnson County. Your first Class A matchup coming up next. An excellent throw down in the corner over there at the 25-yard line. What a great throw to Antonio Lowe. Enough for a first down. What a great throw by Jeremy Turner, the backup quarterback. He drilled that one in there, Mark.
As we mentioned, Grady has a lot of skilled players, and even in their second unit, they can go 4 to 6 deep at wide receiver. Now with 13 seconds, here's a shot to go one more time into the end zone.
Turner looking, throwing. Whoa, almost intercepted. Incomplete over there.
Another flag down at the 25-yard line.
Obviously, someone lined up off sides. Generally, you don't get that unless the official sees somebody line up off sides. So we'll wait and see on this one. We're down to 3 seconds.
The Grady supporters on the far sideline are already giving their team a standing ovation.
And well, they should. This has been a great year.
Great scene.
Listen.
Great scene.
13-1. Take that one to the bank any day of the week. Great season. No announcement from the official, or is it forthcoming? Yeah, here he comes.
We have a substitution violation on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
First down and 5 down at the 21. 3 seconds left in this one. 42-14. Calhoun over Grady. The Yellow Jackets over the Gray Knights. They're tossing the end zone.
Grady scores.
Touchdown.
You gotta love it. No time remaining on this clock. Grady runs outside and makes the touchdown reception to Antonio Lowe.
Jeremy Turner on the toss. So with time expiring, Grady scores, and it's 42-20 as time expires.
Do they kick the extra point here? I guess not.
Obviously, the game is over. The crowd's already on the field. What a great effort by both football teams. You see the fight in Grady coming down the field late in the game. 42-20, your final score as Calhoun beats Grady. Your final score, Calhoun 42 and Grady 20. Let's go down to the sidelines.
Thanks a lot, Tommy. I'm here with Coach Lamb, smelling like a fresh cup of Gatorade. I know you said your players didn't need any extra motivation. Just playing in the dome was enough, and it looks like they came out highly motivated.
Yeah, we got off to a little slow start, but I felt like that might happen with this dome and stuff. But our kids refocused and came out and played extremely well. We moved the ball up and down the field, and I want to give credit to Grady. They're a good football team. I got a lot of respect for Coach Millen. He's doing a good job over there, but our kids are very special. They're high-character kids, and we wouldn't trade them for anybody.
One kid that played it exceptionally well was Adam Urbano. The young kid had 4 touchdowns on the day. Just talk about his play.
Well, Adam really, we spot played him some as a freshman last year, brought him along slow, but I tell you, he's a special football player, and we like to give it to him a lot, but it's a team game, and he couldn't do it by himself, I promise you that. We got a bunch of folks on this football team that believe in what we're trying to do, and it's a great team win.
All right, well, good win, Coach. Good luck next week. We'll send it back up to you, Tommy.
Thank you, Gerald. The final score once more, Calhoun 42, Grady 20. My thanks to you, Mark. Enjoyed it. It was a blast. Stay tuned. More action coming up next on GPB. This is Tommy Palmer. So long from the Georgia Dome.